Good morning, everybody. I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me this morning. I'm a little bit rattled, and you'll be able to tell by the video. Our daughter's father-in-law is in the hospital in a coma. It was a freak thing. I'm not going to go into the story. There was no fight or anything like that, but it was a horrible thing, and it's just happened late last night. So I'm rattled this morning, but I wanted to go ahead and do the video and let you all get going. This is April 1st. This is the April book. And so let's get going and see what we can do. First, I want to thank Janet for the card and the little goodies. Janet Rogan, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate everything that you all do. And I really appreciate all these little things. And I've got one since then. Where is it? And that's not all of Janet's. Okay, I am rattled. See, I told you I was rattled. So, but I'll do it right later. Sorry about that. Let's just, this is going to be Craft With Me. Let's make a book together in April. I'm going to be making several books during April. And if you have never made a book before, this is the video to follow, because I'm going to be making a book along with you newbies that have never made a book before. And I hope if you have never made a book, this is the video you will follow and you will make your first book. It's going to be very simple. I'm going to do a book just like I'm asking you to do. And we'll just go from there and see what we can do. Those of you that have made books before, this is, April is open season. So you just make a book at any theme, any size, any style you want. But let's kind of communicate during the videos. If you can post a picture under the video, I've posted pictures under there, so I think you can too. So post a picture of what you're doing along. If you're in the Grandma group, Junk Journals from Grandma with Love, that is my group. So come over and post your pictures over there. There is no self-promotion over there, but we can promote we can show our work, and you can even post a picture a day if you're working daily on your book. So if you're not a member of Junk Journals from Grandma with Love, come over and join us there. And but still keep up with the video. These are some books that I already had started. This is just how simple a book can be. I just made this in a few minutes last night, and I love that little thing. I mean, it's nothing. It is nothing. But this I make with paper book pages, and they start out just like this. And this is a simple book for a newbie. For somebody that's never made a book before, this is about as simple as it comes. I start out with a page like this, and I buy the Simple Abundance books from eBay. And it is Sarah Ban Brethnock or something like that is her name. But you type in Simple Abundance and you'll find her books. She also has one called Romancing the Stone, and one called, what is it, Mrs. Sharp's Tradition, Reviving Family Celebrations with Comfort and Joy. She just has the most warm and fuzzy books. Now, I have some of those books on eBay, in most of those places. The books that I buy are like $3, $3.50 a piece. So then if you buy 3, you get 1 free from most of those dealers. So that's what I use. I have these books that I keep in my bookcase, and then I also have other books that I cut out of, and they make great paper pages. Then you don't have to worry about what your page says if it shows around your... That's important to me, what the page says underneath. I don't want a bad word or anything, off color seen in my books in any way. So, but all you do is get your page, cut it to size, whatever size. It can be tiny. It can be half this size. It can be this size. I got to get it in the frame. See, I'm even shaking. And I'm not afraid of you all. I'm afraid of what's going to happen here in this situation. This is a dire situation. Let's see here. So this is all you do. I recommend that if you've never made a book before, you do no more than 3 or 4 pages right now with this book. And if you get that one done and want to do a bigger book, that's fine. This is the book that I'm going to work along with you, newbies that have never made one before. It's going to have 4 pages on the inside and then the cover, fronts and backs. So that's plenty of space to work on. if you've never made a book before. That will get your feet wet, get you kind of knowing what you're doing. I'll also, during the month of April, be finishing up some of these smaller books up here. I'm going to do a grandma book, a small grandma book, another bunny book, and I don't know what else. I may do something with that. I've got it made. So I just don't know. But if you want to do a big book, if you're a newbie, you should do small, just to get your feet wet. But that's up to you. Then all you do is fold a page of paper, a regular page of copy paper. 2 pages, just fold them like a book. And then take you a piece of scrapbook paper, any style, whatever you've got there, or newspaper or whatever, and make your cover out of that. So that can be your book if you want the bigger book. I recommend starting this way. Your images will be small. It'll be easier to fill up your pages. And that would be the best way to start in the very beginning. Okay, let's see. Showed you my examples. I do have a special order for a very big grandma book, my biggest grandma book, and I'm going to start that this weekend. And so I'll be showing you that along the way too, and it's going to have the Grandma's Diary from 1942 in it, and just all kinds of little booklets. And a friend, Melinda, messaged yesterday and asked if I still did the big books, and I said I only do them by request now because I don't want to spend the time. They really, really, really take a lot of time. And so I didn't want to take the time to spend a lot of time on a big book and then fear it would not sell because they are on up there in price. But if you can afford it, they are well worth the money. You will never get anything from me that you'll feel like you were ripped off, I guarantee you, if you can afford them. So I'll be working that grandma book along with you too and showing you little bits and pieces of that also. Let's see. All you really need to start out a book is paper, scissors. I even do a lot of my tearing. Didn't bring a ruler up here with me, but I do a lot of my edges, tearing the paper, laying a ruler down and tearing along the edge of the ruler, and that gives a little bit of a jagged page, and I like that look. So let's see, I'll try to have a video on Monday, and by Monday I would like for all of those of you that can, and I know some are on vacation and this and that, so I'd like for those of you that can to be ready with your book base on Monday, and I will have this done. I will have this coffee dyed, all of it. I will have my pages covered. I cover all of my pages with muslin on the inside. No matter what I'm going to do with them, I cover them with muslin first. That adds a little stability, and I just like fabric. I like the look of the fabric hangover. I like the look of the lace and cheesecloth and creepy cloth and all that hanging over. So I'll have my book prepped and ready, and I'll have my images, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, ready to show you on Monday. And then I'll go from there on that. I will also have the grandma book started, but I probably won't show you that yet. She picked out a book, one of my very first books from way back there in 2019. And she wants that kind of duplicated. I can't exactly duplicate it because some of those things I don't have anymore. But anyway, I watched the video last night, and I'll have to watch it again today and write down what I did here and there and try to do that. Let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting some things. I know I'm forgetting some things. The books are called Simple Abundance. If you want to get these books on eBay to use the pages, and they are great books. They're great books just to have in your library to read. And then they're great just to use for your book pages. Simple Abundance, Romancing the Ordinary. And I have on the way, but have not read yet, the Mrs. Sharp's Traditions for family celebrations or something like that. I forget what it is now, but okay, let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting a lot. Let's get over here and do the quotes. The quotes are, do everything with such love you would never want to do it any other way. And I'll have these quotes down under in the first comment below so you can catch them later. Do everything with such love you would never want to do it any other way. And then the second one is, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. in a gentle way, you can shake the world. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, of course. The happiness in our lives depends on the quality of our thoughts. The happiness in our lives depends on the quality of our thoughts. Okay, let me tell you about in a gentle way you can shake the world. Yesterday, our friend Midge Andersonberg was coming up with her husband from Tampa, Florida. They came down the interstate. I didn't even know they were out there. Came down the interstate, past Metropolis. They took the Metropolis exit and went into the Dollar Tree to meet David that I have been talking about. He's just an exceptional manager there. So they stopped and took the time to meet David, and there's a picture of Midge and David on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. So I do invite you to go over there and look at that. But I'm telling you the truth. She made his day in a gentle way. She shook his world yesterday because she is from Stewart, Illinois, 40 miles south of Wisconsin border, I think she said. And she was coming from Tampa, going all the way up to almost Wisconsin, and took the time to stop and meet him and make his day. He has got the most beautiful smile you have ever seen in your life, and he's got a personality to match. So that picture is on my personal Facebook page. I invite you to go over there and look. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm telling you, I'm so shook up about this situation going on in our family. If you can't tell, I'm about one of the most soft-hearted people in the whole wide world. I get upset watching the evening news. That's why I hardly ever watch the news. I don't know what's going on unless my husband tells me, because I get upset over people I don't even know. So when something happens to somebody that I do know and I know means a lot to somebody in our family, or whether they even know, and we know anything about them. You know, a man just down the road from us fell yesterday, and heard that on the scanner, and they said he was critical. Get there quick. He was bleeding from the mouth. He had had a bad fall. 47 years old. I don't know. I didn't hear a name. Never heard any more about it. Don't know how it was. But I was so upset, and I was praying like a Pentecostal woman in a old tent revival for this man I do not know just down the road that fell. So this thing with Kim's father-in-law has me really shook up today. And so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Get your book started. I have a lot to do today. I've been cleaning this week, and I've made so much headway. I love, love, love to clean, and I know that's the craziest thing in the world to those of you that don't like to clean. But I mean, to tell you, my cabinets look like they're Disneyland cabinets, Disney World cabinets. I had so much fun washing down the cabinets and washing the walls down and washing all the stuff on the walls and all that stuff. And now I have a long way to go. We've got a 2-story house, and, you know, so there's tons to do. I'll be working on that today. Oh, one quick thing. My oven exploded the other day. I was in the kitchen baking paper. I was at the sink prepping more paper, and heard this huge shot. I thought somebody had shot me with a pistol. It was that loud. It was so loud. So I turned around. I looked everywhere. I didn't see anything. Didn't smell anything. Geezer was out in the workshop, so I went out and got him. I said, I don't know what has happened, but the most horrendous explosion, loud noise just happened in the kitchen. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not smelling smoke or anything hot. But something happened in the kitchen. So he came in and he looked and looked and looked, and he didn't find anything. And he said, what you got in the oven? And I said, paper. So I'm just baking paper. He said, oh, okay. So he went back out, and in a little while, it was time to get the paper out. It had been in there too long already, but in a little while I opened the oven door, and the paper had not baked. So the element in there, something had happened. I shorted out the whole oven with my baking paper. So the repairman, what do you call him, appliance repairman that we use, and he's been doing this decades. He knows what he's doing. So Geezer called him, and he told him that it happened while I was just baking paper. And he said, okay, wet paper? She stuck wet paper in the oven and closed the door? And Geezer said yes. And he said, well, so I didn't understand it somehow, that moisture, instead of like you're baking a casserole and it all the heat stays down in the casserole. When you bake wet paper, how he would know this, I don't know how many people are baking paper. But he said when you're baking paper, that moisture rises in the oven or something as it evaporates out of the paper. I think that's what he meant. Anyway, I shorted out my whole oven. So we had to order parts, and they came yesterday, so he'd be putting the oven back together today. So he said, I can bake paper, but leave that oven door open. But you know what I did yesterday to get some of this stuff baked because I was out of baked paper? I turned on a burner on the stove, heated my skillet, turned the burner back off, just heated it a little bit, a minute. Turned the burner back off, put my cookie sheet on it, and put my papers on that cookie sheet on top of that skillet, which was sitting on a burner that was just hot and not actually turned on. And that baked my paper pretty quick. I mean, it dried and browned my paper pretty quick. So that worked. So I just want to warn you about the ovens. Be careful about your ovens. You know, I've been doing this for years, but I've only been baking paper since 2018 because my style totally changed when I found Jenny Miller. So, oh my goodness gracious, I had a couple of things written down I meant to bring up here with me. I wanted to recommend a couple of videos, and now I can't think. Oh my gosh. One of the girls in our group made some tiny, tiny books yesterday. What was her craft name? And I've even talked to her. She recommended how I can set up my camera so I can get going here on Real Craft with Me's from overhead. I'll have to do that Monday. I'll try to have it Monday. So I'm going to get off here. Hope you all have a super duper grand and groovy day. Let's get going on our books. I'll be making a book with the newbies, and I'll be making a book with those that have been making books a long time. So I'll be making 2 or 3 books during the month of April. I will have some books up for grabs in about a week or so, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Okay, going to get off here. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Love and hugs.